I don't know about you, but I've been waiting with bated breath for the big reveal about how Thor was conceived. We've certainly known for a long time now that Thor's mother is not his mother. Turns out Odin humped a giant flaming bird back in the prehistoric days. I guess that's been one of the big deals. Was supposed to be a big deal with Jason Aaron's Avengers run, which has pretty much been an abomination after about the maybe 10th issue. Whatever that first issue is that tied into War of the Realms, I think it was. Whatever that Thor thing Jason Aaron was doing to finish off his Thor run, and then he tied it into Avengers, essentially killed off the entire storyline there. It took a really boring deviation. It came back and did a Blade story that wasn't that bad, and it's been absolutely unreadable ever since. He's been throwing every little trick he can at the wall, but from day one, he's established that the BC Avengers are supposed to be really important, the 1 million BC Avengers. Essentially, it's a variant cover to where you make a lot of characters look like they were in prehistoric times, and you can sell a comic book cover for it. Unfortunately, Jason Aaron decided that this was like the most intriguing, interesting plot point that he could include in his Avengers run. And he's been trying to sell this damn thing for 3 going on 4 years now. He's been trying to sell it as important. And I will be the first to admit it, where you've got Ghost Rider on a woolly mammoth that's on fire, that it looks good. Don't think the character is actually all that interesting. And hey, I like Odin as much as the next guy, but this has never felt important. It got an enormous eye roll in Avengers, what was it, 42, where we got the clarification that Thor's mom isn't his mom. But Marvel Comics are finally going to fill us in on this thing that we've all been waiting for, but nobody's been waiting for because no one really gives a shit. I don't really like the idea of somebody of Jason Aaron's stature or lack thereof, in my opinion, going back and changing key characteristics and history moments of a character like Thor. You know, obviously that were originally written by a Stan Lee, Walt Simonson kind of stuff. Obviously, they're the real architects of the Thor that we have today. Pretty much everything Jason Aaron has tried to do with the character never really worked. He always ended up falling back to the status quo that was previously established. But he really wants to put his stamp on this character that does not belong to him. And so we're going to finally get the reveal of Thor's true parentage. I guess we're going to see Odin and a giant flaming bird in the throes of coitus. Whoop-de-doo. I guess for some reason, Marvel Comics and Jason Aaron think that we've all been waiting for this, so I guess we're going to get to the details. As you can tell, I'm super duper excited to finally learn the details of where Thor really came from, because whatever it was that Stan Lee and Walt Simonson and the other truly great legendary creators have done with the character, that stuff wasn't important. What's important is Jason Aaron gets to put his stamp on this damn character. He already created Jane Foster Thor. You know, that wasn't a big enough change. You got to do this too. Whatever. Let's get to the details. Readers will get to discover the secret history between Thor and the Phoenix Force this summer in Avengers 1 million BC #1. The giant-sized one-shot from writer Jason Aaron and artist Kev Walker will also include new revelations about the prehistoric Avengers. Plus, the story also promises to show how these revelations factor into Avengers mythos, which factors into a major Avengers story taking place later this year. The original incarnation of Earth's mightiest heroes were first introduced in 2017's Marvel Legacy #1, kicking off Jason Aaron's tenure on the franchise. I'll be the first to admit 2017's Marvel Legacy #1 from Jason Aaron introducing the prehistoric Avengers didn't feel like the warning sign that Bendis is coming felt like as a Superman fan, but I guess we should have seen the writing on the wall. Jason Aaron has pretty much been spent as a writer for quite some time. He hasn't really written much that's really resonated, although his first issue of Punisher is admittedly good. But that's about all he's done that's actually been pretty decent lately. The idea of prehistoric Avengers or Avengers 1 million BC, however you want to say it, like I said, it's a cool variant cover month. It's a little gimmick that you get to move some comic book covers where you bring some decent artists in. You do something that looks okay. But unfortunately, Marvel kind of does these stupid gimmicks a lot. That's why we've got Spider-Punk that was absolutely atrocious last week. That's why we got Spider-Gwen and Gwenpool and all these stupid characters that shouldn't exist anywhere, but somehow we've got comic books about them. That's essentially what 1 million BC is. Hey, if you're the biggest 1 million BC Avengers fan in the world, I'm sorry. We'll just have to agree to disagree on whether or not this was a good idea. I don't think this has played out the way Marvel and Jason Aaron expected it to. I think they expected more enthusiasm and more interest in this big mystery box that's waiting to be unraveled in the coming months ahead. But I think most people are just like, I just want Jason Aaron not to be writing Avengers and changing any characters, especially Thor, anymore. We've seen enough changes to Thor in the Avengers written by Jason Aaron that we know it's probably not going to be good, and it's time to kind of move on. Just let him do his stuff with Punisher and Conan, where he can actually do some pretty decent stories. Alas, that is not going to happen. Common sense does not always prevail in comic books, and we're getting the 1 million BC giant-sized comic book that no one asked for. But we got more details. Marvel originally teased the unveiling of Thor's secret origin yesterday with a graphic of the Phoenix logo. The Avengers of 1 million BC consist of the Marvel Universe legacy heroes. Along with Thor's father Odin, we have the Phoenix, Black Panther, Iron Fist, Ghost Rider, Agamotto, and Starbrand. Many of these figures have factored into present-day Avengers stories, and the team's current roster counts Thor, Phoenix, powering Echo, Black Panther, and Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes. The God of Thunder and the Phoenix Force have discussed their complicated relationship in both Avengers and Thor, but Avengers 1 million BC will look to clear any confusion regarding Thor's parentage. I personally don't have any lingering questions about the parentage of Thor. His dad is Odin, and in Marvel Comics, it's Frigga. And in Norse mythology, it's Jord. Other than that, I could give two shits what Marvel Comics and Jason Aaron are trying to sell me with this stupid 1 million BC storyline. The idea on itself should have been rejected outright. CB Cebulski, as the EIC, should have stepped in and been like, no, this is pretty fucking stupid. We're actually not going to do this. People are going to reject it. And you're kind of going out there and you're changing story and mythology and stuff created by legendary creators like a Stan Lee or Walt Simonson. Unfortunately, it somehow passed the smell test. I'm not really sure how that happened. And now here we are. We're going to get the big comic book that supposedly we've all been waiting for, that's getting a giant-sized issue to spill out all these mysteries that a vast majority of Avengers fans don't want answers to. They just want Jason Aaron gone. It doesn't matter what Marvel Comics say or do. They can try to change the canon all they want. For the vast majority of Thor fans, they're not going to accept it because the change is stupid. Why accept it if they're just going to go back to the original canon anyway? This will all be undone, and some smart writer out there will finally get on the Thor title and be like, you know what, I always liked Thor. You know who really screwed that up? Jason Aaron, when he was on Avengers and that 1 million BC stuff. I should probably just erase that from history. That's pretty stupid. My contribution, at a minimum, to Thor and the Avengers will be fixing the character and the mistake from Jason Aaron and CB Cebulski and others. Tom Revord, I'm sure, played a role in this as well. As you can see, I'm pretty sarcastic about this because the change in itself is so moronic that only Marvel Comics could do it. Well, I don't want to say that. Marvel Comics is probably in a better place than DC right now, but I don't even think DC Comics under Jim Lee's ridiculous leadership would go back and change the parentage and origins of Superman again. This is so stupid, only Marvel Comics would do it. You know what I'm saying? As for the man of the hour, Jason Aaron himself, this is what he had to say about the upcoming story. The prehistoric Avengers have been an important key to my Avengers run since the very beginning. They are the earliest versions of some of Earth's most powerful legacy characters. They're the heroes who protect the Marvel Universe in its crib. And now we finally get to see them in all the spotlight in a huge way. In a story that shows how these prehistoric heroes shaped Marvel's history in the most profound ways, and that will also have big ramifications for the Avengers going forward. I have some serious doubt that it'll have big ramifications for the Avengers going forward. I think the visuals on some of these characters are cool, but the stories themselves are insignificant and unimportant. And to be completely honest, even if they do have some ripples within the Marvel Comics universe, which I severely doubt just based on everything that we've seen from Marvel lately, this will all be retconned out of existence as soon as anybody with half a brain cell shows up to write the Avengers and Thor and gets to fix this stuff. It sucks that they did this to Donny Cates, who's the writer of Thor. He's a way bigger star than Jason Aaron. He's far more important to Marvel Comics and their current state and the success that they're having. For him to take his character that he's working on and throw this stupid change into it, Donny Cates has had to lower himself and integrate some of these really stupid ideas from Jason Aaron into his Thor run. It's a waste of time, it's stupid, and it shouldn't be happening. Are you excited for this big change, the big reveal in 1 million BC Avengers giant-sized comic book that no one asked for? Perhaps you're the one, or maybe the one of a dozen fans that's actually excited for this. I think Jason Aaron can do good work from time to time. I think what he's done, for the most part, on Conan has been solid or better. His first issue of Punisher was certainly really good, and it portends great things meeting up with Daredevil in the future. His work on Avengers has been atrocious, and it bears out in the sales. everything is selling better than the Avengers right now, which is, it shouldn't be that way. Avengers should be the character or the team book that's selling right underneath Spider-Man and X-Men. Then it should be Avengers as far as your best-selling ongoing titles that people are really interested in, because they're really important and they're kind of the best-known superhero team in the world right now. Jason Aaron keeps ruining that, and this is just going to be another example of it. Will I read it? You're damn right I'm going to read it. I'm going to review it right here on the channel. I can't pass up a train wreck like that. Now, some of you may be wondering, or you remember, I think I've already seen the reveal of Thor's parentage. You did. It was in Avengers 42. I talked about it right here. It's not a full-up review, but I did go over the pertinent details and what Marvel Comics kind of let out of the bag at that time. Definitely check this out. Be informed and get ready for the train wreck that will be 1 million BC Avengers.